bouquet, and there's a few reeds of wheat wrapped around to hold them together. But this thing was an absolute masterpiece, and when you realize that it was done in the dark, overnight, there's no physical way humans could pull this off.
Right, right.
But this particular one had, I can't believe the photos. I mean, my jaw was hanging open. I just kept saying, they are upping the game, because you cannot create like this in the dark. It was like twisted, braided, woven centers. Some of them looked like an explosion of a wheel in the center and then folded flat down, spreading out to the sides over little twisted, woven circles. I mean, it was like layers and layers of art. And from the sky, it looked just like an amazing snowflake with little fleur-de-lis around them. You know, it looked almost like just some nice sacred geometry, but within the formation, it was really, really intense artwork, and no two circle centerpieces were the same. It was artistic masterpiece. So I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. What a summer. Wow, you know. And the summer before, most of the crop circles were of fish and birds. Well, what were they telling us last year? They were giving us a warning about BP or something happening to fish and birds to draw our attention. But if anybody looks back at the formations of 2009, there were 6 or 7 fish formations alone.
Wow.
And 6 or 7 bird formations alone. Owls, thunderbird, swallows. It was really interesting. And the fish ones were squid and octopus with really long tentacles. They were showing us very odd creatures from the sea, and then circles of dolphin. But we had a number of them. Really, as we look back, we can see that the crop circles have given us interesting information. But here comes the story of all stories, and I think this particular one is going to get me into the UFO conference as a speaker.
Okay.
Because I have footage I'm very excited about. Michael and I I love going to the Silent Circle when I'm in Wiltshire. This is the place where all the researchers meet, and we whisper about the new formations, how to get in, where to go, what fence to climb over. Then you have to go 6 or 8, tractor lines to the left and just keep on going, because when you're standing in a field, you really can't see where the crop circle formation is unless you have flown over and clocked, like, how many tractor lines.
Oh, right, right.
Oh, you try and find them without somebody, pulling you in front of you. The best way to find them is, when you finally drive to the spot, is to look for people's heads and hope that somebody beat you there, because it's really a treasure hunt.
Right, right.
So this one day, and I've been trying not to make a movie, but we've got the camera with us. We get to the Silent Circle, and it's one of our last days, and we're going to take off. We've seen some incredible formations, and these 2 guys come in, and they are very red in the face, and they haven't slept, and they're from Belgium. And I happen to be sitting outside, which is how it seems to happen. And they come up and sit down, and they were very flushed, and I said, "Hi, do you need some water?" And they said, "We saw the most amazing thing last night." And he speaks pretty good English, but his buddy Andy didn't speak great English. And I said, "What happened?" And so we're sitting here leaning forward, and it's just my boyfriend and I and these 2 guys from Belgium, and they sit down, and everybody comes there. Like I said, it's a magnet. So he said he just needed somebody to talk to. I said, "So what happened?" He said, "Well, these French people were out, and what we do is night watch. You go in the crop circles during the day, and then at night watch, you sit up on the hillside, and you watch to see, if you're lucky, you get to see balls of light, whatever, going over a field, or if you're really lucky, show up in front of you, or if you're super lucky, you get to see them create a crop circle."
Oh, yes.
People have seen amazing things. So these guys are doing night watch, night after night. Lots of people sit up at the top of what's called East Field in Wiltshire. There are always 1 or 2 or 3 crop circles in East Field every summer. So this summer, sure enough, now there's 2. And when the second one happened, there were people sitting up on the hill, and they came rushing up the hill, these French people. This lovely older man with an orange scarf on, and a woman who spoke a little English and a lot of French, and a young 15-year-old boy, and they came hustling up the hill, and they were talking really fast in French, and the guys from Belgium spoke French, and so the people had told him, we just saw these orange balls of light down the hill over East Field, and they lit up, and they went out, and they lit up, and they went out, and it was very exciting, and now we're going to bed, and this was all said in French. So the people came up the hill, and these two young guys looked at each other and said, down we go. So they went over the hill. I've been up there 100 times, and they climbed down the side of the hill where you could see the whole of East Field. The guys said within about 5 minutes of starting down the hill, they weren't all the way down into the valley. They saw the balls of light show up again, and these balls lit up. There were two of them, and the guys just stopped right where they were, and the one guy said, pinch me, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And then these balls of light turned into illuminated humanoids, is what he called them.
Whoa.
With very thick Belgian accents. He said they grew arms and legs and a head, and they did not come down to the ground. They just stayed there in the sky. But I know what I saw.
Wow.
And we saw this happen. And then they turned back into balls of light and faded away.
Wow.
And I said to my friend, pinch me. I can't believe what I saw. And then he said they appeared again. And I have this on film.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting at the silent circle, and he goes, there's the French people. So I yanked the French people over, and they went on camera.
Yeah.
And they gave me the same story, and the lady was translating. So both of them said the same thing, which was that it was the same night, and they saw the formation happen in East Field. And it's a simple formation. It's a line of circles and a couple of arcs at the top. No big deal, but a nice simple formation. We had walked in it. It didn't feel like anything really spectacular, but it was nice, clean formation. So the next day, we had heard about this amazing formation at Roundway. So we drove out to Roundway, and lovely little farm family. They were charging admission there now. And somebody had sent a text to one of their farm hands and said, we just flew over and you've got a crop circle in your field. So the farmer goes up with the kids. Oh, my God, that's a beautiful one. It's the fourth one they've had in the 15 years, I think it was, they've owned the property. So I interviewed the family, and they were really cute. And so all these people were going up into their crop circle. So we go up there with the camera, and there was this amazing wheelchair with like Star Wars creatures on it that was left out of the formation. And inside the formation were these three children. One of them had crutches, and both legs were in casts. And this was another family from Belgium, 3 kids, mom and dad, and they were sitting in the crop circle with the dog that helps the one kid get around who's handicapped. And I asked if I could ask them questions on camera, because all of a sudden I'm on a roll. I'm just completely fired up after these guys told me about an illuminated orange humanoid that they saw. And these guys, I mean, we just watched the footage again. He said, I'm a very realistic person. I have to see it to believe it. Well, I know what I saw with my own eyes. So, I mean, the guy was really sure. So here's the next day. We're at a different formation. We meet another family from Belgium. I'm interviewing them. I'm saying, you know, what do the kids feel? Do they like coming to crop circles? And they said, well, our daughter sees things. And I said, what does she see? They said, well, she sees auras. And I said, really? What color is mine? She read mine as gold and yellow, and she read Michael's as gold, yellow, and blue. And so I asked, do you see anything else? And they said, well, she was in a crop circle yesterday in East Field, and she said it's not done yet.
Huh.
I said, really? Does she talk to the circle makers? And they asked her in her language, and she said, I just know it's not done yet.
Huh.
I said, well, that's interesting. And I said, who do you think made them, to the little girl? She was like 4 years old. And she said the balls of light, the orange ones.
Huh.
Like, whoa, that's so interesting. So that night, I went to a friend's wedding in Glastonbury, and a guy at her wedding said, I do sacred writing, and I just did a reading on the crop circle that just happened today, and I don't think it's done yet. And I was like, what? And it was the one in East Field. So after the wedding, I went into the lobby, and I took him on camera, and he had a pen and paper, and he opened up the notebook, and he said, this is the writing I did. And he said, I closed my eyes, and they just used my body and moved my hand. And the first thing they wrote was orange. So I asked, are you the orange being? Now, this guy knew nothing about the little girl or the other two interviews that I had just done the day before, totally on his own, off in Glastonbury. We'd driven a few hours. So I'm interviewing him, and he says, first they wrote orange, and I said, are you the orange beings? And he said, yes. And I said, and what did they tell you? And he said, well, the next word they wrote was good. And then they did a bunch of sketching that looked like the formation that happened. And I said, what did you feel from it? And he said, they said it's not done yet.
Oh.
Now, by this time, I looked at my man, and I said, okay, would you tell me what the date is today? And he said, today is July 29th, 2010. And I said, okay, I just have to say this on camera. You are the second person that has told me about the orange beings making that crop circle in East Field, and you're the second one in 12 hours, the other a 4-year-old girl, telling me that it's not done yet. So if, in fact, there is a second phase of this formation, I've got it documented on camera, and you guys are telling me straight up before it happens, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you. And sure enough, the next day, the formation was there.
Wow.
So when I say they're upping the game, I'm saying in my face, and now in yours, and whoever is listening, this is really happening. And the only reason it's really happening is because I'm not busy anymore. I'm not letting myself be occupied by menial tasks, which has worn me out.
Right.
And it's not like I can really afford to do this, but I am directed by my guides, and I take orders well. So because I do, and I'm listening, I think that the gifts are being multiplied. So when we started out this radio show by talking about the choices that we have and the challenges that we are gifted with every day, yep, I just got screwed by my banker also. They decided to keep, it's like there's plenty of both. But there is so much information being offered now.
Well, that is amazing, Patty. And the other thing that, I think we all enjoy hearing about is the energy that you feel when you go into a crop circle. And it seems to, at least I've heard people say, that it seems to be more intense in the center. Could you share some of your experiences on, what are the sensations? Do you have metaphysical experiences and so on?
Absolutely. I brought my man with me this time, and he is the other side of the spectrum, very realistic, very analytical, and very trusting. I really respect and appreciate your work, and I need proof. So it's so perfect because we walk like, yin and yang together.
Right,
and,
right.
It's nice because I'm the artist, creative musician. And, if there's a deer anywhere or a wild horse, I'm like, coo, 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 coo. I'm singing to the animals.
Yeah,
and I say, quick, you shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm making these ridiculous noises, but oh my God, the footage we get because they stare at me,
Oh.
So, it's been a really interesting time of watching a crop circle virgin, a highly intelligent human, but a crop circle virgin go into the crop circles with me.